This is Reality with Partiality. I am Percy A. Lewis, together with my co-host,
Ivan Williams, yours truly.
co-host, warm greetings, and
Same
warm
here.
greetings, Colonel Lovell.
Good morning to all
The,
viewers.
edu- the education system in Belize and most of the world by extension is driven by competition, causing individuals to live their lives by comparison instead of becoming the best version of themselves. Living by comparison, to my mind, is a terrible way to live. We are created one of a kind. No two people are exactly alike. So that when we tap into our niche, finding that one thing that we are joyful at doing about and competent at doing, we become the owners of that product and it becomes our brand. Our stiffest competition then becomes ourselves with our unique brand and product. As we improve it, it was not until this last decade that I personally started gravitating toward my niche, worked on it, solidified it a couple years ago, then till now, I'm here, a life transformation coach, specializing in humanity's holistic well-being and spirituality. So here I am, aka partiality, meaning one of a kind. He who is lonely, you see, whenever he's alone, is in bad company. So I'm never lonely. And I am certainly not a push start engine needing inducement from outside, but a self start engine. Today, co host, we have in studio Colonel George Lovell, a couple years, my senior. If you go by society's norm and government's retirement scheme, at his and our ages, we're supposed to either be headed toward the pasture or already in there.
Oh,
As for me, as long as my mental acuity remains intact, I will continue to grow and expand limitlessly and only become full-fledged whenever I'm dead. Retired Colonel Lovell has been the CEO of the Ministry of National Security, which includes the BDF, Coastguard and Police, working transborder as well as home affairs. Here in Belize, yeah, so he resided in the belly of the beast, able to tell us where the country is and where he believes it should go, including the situation with Guatemala's territorial claim, which is now being adjudicated at the ICJ. So, Colonel George Lovell, a man known for his integrity, is here to tell us, the audience, about his journey, past, present, and future, in becoming the very best version of himself, and maybe whether he considers himself withdrawn from public life. You know, we're here to find out. Colonel George Lovell, please take the microphone.
well, thank you, Percy and Ivan, for having me here this morning. I think I sometimes not shy away from these kinds of public um, audience, but what I tend to do is to, in the last few years, stay within my own lane, so to speak, and to carry on with whatever contribution I can give for the development of Belize in my own way. And I say that because ever since I became a public servant, and I use that word, we don't like to use that word servant, but I am using it um, because I think I do serve this nation, the people, and and visitors that comes to our land with integrity, with all honesty, and with all my efforts that I have to make the best that we can have of Belize. When I started just to give a little background as to where I came from. I am the seventh of 8 children from Juanita, Elaine Johnson, and Silas Uriah Lovell. Both deceased, pro-Belizeans that hails from the City River area. And Ivan will know what I'm talking about when I say City River area. And I didn't grow up in the City River or in the Stanton district because they, back in the 50s, migrated to Belize. And I born and grew up in Belize City. I am from the south side, the, if you will, Carassa Street, Raccoon Street, Cemetery Road area. As a matter of fact, I was born near Pilgrim Sawmill, right in the area where Vernon Street market, fish market area is. Just to give a little background as to the side of south side background that I grew up in. I'm a Methodist. I went to both the Wesley Infant School, Upper School, Wesley College. I in my early educational career or path, I then moved on to the government audit department. I went, spent some time there, left as a first class clerk, joined the BDF, rose through the ranks to colonel where I retired. Then I went into the other services that I gave. I spent some time at NEMO. I was a coordinator for NEMO from 2004 up until 2008. I spent a long period of time as CEO for a number of different ministries. It's not just only the Ministry of Defense, but I also had the opportunity to be the CEO for Public Utility, Transport, Communication, and National Emergency Management. I had the opportunity to be the CEO for Police and Public Safety. I had the opportunity to be the CEO for National Security, the CEO for Home Affairs, amongst others. I've sit on several boards during my my services that I gave. I was the chairman of the parole board. I sit on the board of management board. I sit on the BTL board. I sit on a number of committees that were designed to bring better for our systems. I was the chairperson for the Nationality Scrutinizing Committee. I sit on the board for the for immigration, for a number of different boards. So the list goes on and on. When I retired in 2020, and I wouldn't want to use that word retire because I'm never retired. I am always here to serve so long as there is life in me. But in 2020, when there was a change in the administration, I decided to move away a bit from public services. And I was just at home, you know, doing my own thing, trying to look after the farm and the fishing and the cycling, because I do cycle a lot and everything else that goes with that. And then I was asked in about 2022 to try to see what we can do to have a viable opposition. And so I put my name in as a person to be a caretaker in the Belmopan constituents. The people didn't want me. They decided John Saldeo was the better choice, and I had to respect that. and I decided that I was not going to interfere with the processes here. As a matter of fact, just this Sunday, there was a very important meeting here in Belmopan. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend because I had an emergency with a vehicle for my son, and I had to go up in Sinai. So as a matter of fact, when you called me, Percy, to arrange for me to be on this show,
Yes.
I was under the hood of the
That's right.
vehicle, if you
That's
could
right.
recall. And so
Yes.
I was unable to be at two places at the same time. Nonetheless, my intent was just to go there and observe and not to really interfere, and to see and maybe render some advice here and there as we go forward. I will always continue to serve because that's what I do. I will always continue to try to make Belize the best Belize that we can have in my own way, as so long as my input would help that to get to where it can be the best. I will always be available to give those advice and to help where I can. I am not a person to say I'm a party flag bearing person. No, I don't go like that. I go for the best for Belize, and I will always be the best. So I'm a Belizean, and Belizean first, second, and third. So there's no room there for me to say, but I want to see the best, and so I help in whichever way, shape, or form I can. Having said that, I do think that as we go forward, we have to have a good government, and we have to have a good opposition. We have to have a good balance so that we can have the best country that we can have, managing best way, shape, or form as we go forward. And that's what I'm all about. Can I break there? Or
Well,
do I continue?
well, I was going to. Well, you see, that's a loaded tamale. Um, are you saying you're doing a little bit of farming?
Yes, I have a little piece of. Actually, I've been neglecting it more than I should have been at this stage. Yeah, because it's important that I wanted to be able to at least go there and see something grow and see some
Ah,
progress,
right.
live from it and eat from it and that sort of thing. So that's what I do. It's no sort of farm to be able to have mass production. If I can reach that stage, I would do that because it helps to provide also to the development of
Yes, it's
the country. So it's, but I'm not there yet. I need to start walking before I can start running in that.
okay. Okay, but you okay, but it's big enough, that it could help with food security, right? For the
Yes,
country and stuff.
yes,
Okay.
yes, 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 certainly.
Uh-huh.
Certainly.
Because yes, when I spoke to you, you were under a vehicle, so you
Yeah.
know a little bit of mechanic.
Yeah, actually, it's a little hobby that I have. I like to fool the old vehicles, so I
Okay.
have a lot of old
Okay.
vehicles that I get under the hood. I
Okay.
drive. People would see me around driving a old tracker, but what they
Ah,
don't. And I took that thing down from scratch.
really?
My
Okay.
daughter gave me the vehicle. I had it running for a while. The engine went off on me, and so I had to rebuild it, and I actually rebuilt it myself. You
Yes,
know,
yes, yes.
and so I enjoy things like that. So my hands are sometimes oiled and spoiled, and
Loaded? Yeah, yeah. But this thing with cycling and you, right? Because your name is synonymous with cycling and it's been from donkey's years. Tell
yeah,
us how that
how it came about. Um,
uh-huh uh-huh uh-huh
what happened, Percy? I was in the BDF, and I had a knee injury. And in the
okay
BDF, you have to pass your physical test to for you to get your increment and for career development and everything else.
yes
And so um, the best sort of physical training to keep me fit was either swimming or
okay
cycling that has less
okay
impact on the knee, because whenever I run, the knee would get
yes
swollen. Whenever I do any kind of things where I have that hard impact on the ground, 90%. So I decided to start cycling. This was just so that I can keep in shape, because I didn't have a swimming pool. The British had a pool there, but we couldn't use it at the time.
Yeah, but you're
I,
being humble about this thing, because you're a good cyclist. You are more than a you won some races, right?
yeah, but what happened was that when I started out, there was a cycling team. Sergeant Major Jones, we had a young man we called String Beans, and Rojases, and all the others. They were there cycling, and I just got on a ordinary bike, and I found that I was holding up with them somewhat. And the comments were, if you get something better, you could do a little better. And
Yeah.
so within 4 years, I went through 4 different bikes,
Okay.
trying to upgrade, no?
Yes.
No. Within 1 year, sorry, I went in 4 different bikes trying to upgrade. As a matter of fact, I went to New York once, and I was telling my brothers that I want to ride cross country, and they said, "Oh yeah," and I tell them, "But I don't have a good bike." I said, "Well, no problem."
Yes.
They went and from one of their friends, a guy Ferguson, who was a very avid cyclist back in the days, who apparently they were in New York at the time. They had some cyclists that they used to send them to Belize to ride across country, and they used to give them bikes, and they said, "Okay, well, you can take one of the bikes." And so I took one of those bikes and brought to Belize, and I didn't even ride my cross country on that bike, because that was the 3rd bike I had. But because that bike, even though it had all the Campanogo parts, and cyclists would know what I'm talking about, the Campanogo record parts and that sort of thing on it, it was not the ideal bike.
Okay.
It had passed its time. It was like 20 years old kind of thing.
Okay.
And the Belizeans here, we are more thrown to, oh, well, boy, yeah, you're going to get good parts and things, but you need to upgrade still. And so I bought a bike from Coleman Williams, who used to come down every year to ride the 1st of January races. And he used to, when he comes down, he would sell his bike and then go back and then come back with cross country, a new bike. So I bought a bike from him, and this was at the time a very expensive bike.
Yeah.
And that's what I rode my first cross country on. But what happened when I started cycling, all my children then followed. And that's how George,
Gina,
and Greg, and Giovanni, and all those others got involved, because they saw their father cycling every day, and
they emulate you.
And this is how it happens.
Yes,
and,
I know.
And I'm glad that I did it, because we had a wealth of talent within my household. Gina is now two-term cross-country champion. As a matter of fact, she rode her first 4 cross-country races that she rode. She had never gotten anything less than 2nd. Her first 4. As a matter of fact, when she got second to the record holder, whose record was just broken, I think, this year. And for over 15 years or so, that record was there. And she got second also to another foreigner from Guatemala. And then from there she got ill and was not doing too well in cycling.
Yes, I met Gina before you and I crossed path there. While we were CO downstairs at Nemo.
Yes.
Because I taught her in JC.
Okay.
But let's talk about BDF. Your rank as colonel. They're not. I've known a lot of they've come on the show, right? Major this, major that. But I don't know many colonels. Yeah, you have this rank above the major. We've never been to a war, that's true, as a country. But you've been in this belly of the beast, right there in the BDF. But you don't talk about that. So tell us what you can disclose, because
I can disclose everything because there is no
uh-huh,
secret to that extent about my career path. I started off as a second lieutenant, and I went up to it's lieutenant colonel actually, because you have lieutenant colonel, then the general.
uh-huh.
Um, but I serve in maybe I can say all elements of the BDF. And I think
Okay.
this is very, and I don't shy away from it. I did seven except for maritime wing. I think
All right.
maritime
All
wing
right.
was the only element that I didn't serve, and
Okay.
I had a lot of workings with them. Um, I serve a little small time at the air wing, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't successful there. I serve as infantry officer in all the other elements at the force support group. I was even the training officer for the volunteers at some stage. I serve in all capacity. I even act as the commander for Belize Defense Force when um, General Boland at the time, Cedric Boland was out of the country for,
Okay.
for
Okay.
a couple of weeks and that sort of thing. I
Mm-hmm.
was General Boland's de facto deputy commander when Lloyd Gillett was on um, his staff college course for a year in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
And then when he came back, when Lloyd came back, both I
Mm-hmm.
was then transferred to Nemo and stayed there for a year or two, for a year before I retired. Um, what happened is in the BDF, for you to go from one rank to the next, you have to sit courses, you have to have certain qualifications, and that sort of thing. And so the last career promotional course, if you will, that you do would be the Commandant General Staff College, which I did in the
Mm-hmm.
in the United States at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and um, that's the course where most of the U.S. would send their um, colonels and generals and people who aspire to be in high
But
places.
like you said, then you serve as an executive in government.
Yeah,
CEO,
yeah.
chief
Well, which
executive.
is even above, yeah, what I would have normally do because it's only a few of the generals who became or those that were considered having that ability became CEO or
There
executive
you
chief
go.
executive officer.
There
Um,
you go.
yeah, so while I didn't serve as the commanding general, I was no
You went
his
above. You went
superior.
above. There
Yes,
you go.
and,
But
and
now I want to ask you about sensitive areas like the Belize Guatemala issue.
okay,
Um, because you also dealt with that as a CEO,
yeah,
CEO of National Security. How
very.
was that? Now that matter is at the ICJ. So
It
talk to
is,
us.
but at the level of the CEO and the generals and that sort of thing. Remember now, the ICJ is a decision taken by the country. It's at the political level. It's
Mhm,
basically above the pay scales of
mhm,
CEOs. We have all the best attorneys and everybody trying to look after our interests there now that the
mhm.
country is paying big money to ensure that we get the best representation there. But at the CEO level, what we tend to do is to try to keep the operational aspect at the BDF
Mhm,
commander and the CEO level, try to keep the
mhm.
operational aspect of our national security um, at its best. And we
Well,
do
uh-huh.
and we do so through dialogue with our partners in Guatemala. So you will find out that from time to time we have um, these meetings And the meetings are held sometimes at the CEO from Foreign Affairs and Defense
Yes.
level, along with
Yes.
the Vice Minister from Guatemala, and we have these regular meetings. And these meetings are designed for us to continue to have that cordial and amicable relationship with our neighbors, while the
Right.
process of the ICG is
Right. Right.
and so
Right.
there's a lot that is happening that people don't see between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Defense, along with our partners in Guatemala. And we do get involved at times. The OAS very much is a part of it. And
Yes. Yes. Yes.
our friends, the Americans and the British,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
at times get involved with these things at the CEO level. And this is not giving
Yes.
anything out that
No, you are not giving.
top secret.
I
Kind of
understand you. I
these
understand.
things do happen from time to time. Now, the details of what happened is more the secret part,
There you go. There you
what
go.
comes out of it. But the meetings are
Uh-huh.
things that I believe that the nation should know about, so that they
Right.
can be rest assured that there will be no surprises. They
And
can
they can sleep at night.
sleep at night at ease, and that's
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes.
So I think all these matters, when you have these flare-ups along the source tune, those things are dealt with by the CEOs, the CEO of Foreign Affairs,
Yes.
of Defense, um,
Yes.
along with our partners, the OAS, the
Yes.
Americans,
Yes.
whosoever we can bring to bear to help
Right. Right.
use and to keep those flare-ups, because things happen, especially
Yes.
along that Sarstoon and along our
Yes.
western border. Things happen, and happen sometimes on a daily basis, and we don't get to hear and see a lot of these things. Um, Whenever we have our own people who would go there to show sovereignty, and like Wilmer here and his group, and I love them,
Uh-huh.
and everything else, and these are some things that we will have to sometimes have to see how we can manage, so that they don't blow out of proportion and cause us to lose the kinds of
I
progresses that we have had. Yeah.
yeah. My. Maybe you can help allay my concern. Not having a signed military guarantee. The British pulling out under Esquivel's second term or something like that. We don't have a signed military guarantee in the event that there would be an attempt of an invasion or an actual invasion by Guatemala. Then you became the CEO of National Security, and some people don't even understand the coordination. Who all the ministries and ministers that are involved in that coordination. But I want to believe the Prime Minister is usually a part of that mix. But specifically, this situation with Guatemala, us Belize not having a signed military guarantee, and Guatemala not being willing to sign something. what the hell they call the thing they want in there about the Sarstoon protocol. Sarstoon protocol. What is your what? How do you see this matter?
Well, there is no Sarstoon protocol because nothing is signed. Let's face it. There was a recommendation made by Belize and that, and we call it a Sarstoon protocol. So there's no protocol.
Yes.
It takes two to create that protocol.
Yes.
We did have a protocol for the western border, which the OAS and everybody gets involved with. Now, in terms of we know where we came from. We were a British colony when the British moved out and we got our independence. We wanted to have these guarantees, which, for whatever reason, didn't work out. The thing is, the way I look at life is that we are now it. Belize, you are now it. You are now
We number one.
you now have to find ways and means how to manage these
managing
events,
issues
and these issues. You are now an independent person, so
right.
you have elements of national powers that you can use. Diplomacy is first.
Yes, the tool.
The information when my studies tell me that the Americans use a thing that they call DIME, which is the diplomatic, informational, military, and economic aspect of your national power to be able to bring to bear to manage these kinds of events.
Yes.
Our biggest weapon that we have is diplomacy.
Thank you.
Is diplomacy. Because we have a very small military. All right?
Yeah.
We don't have no informational technology that we could send on drones and bomb them out and beat them or crumbling the system so that the country the country that we have as an opposing country could collapse. We don't have those kinds of capabilities.
Yeah.
We don't have the economic power where we could have blockades and sanctions and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Americans are using it on Iraq right now.
I agree.
They could use everything because they have those kinds of powers. We don't. But
go ahead.
Our strength is diplomacy.
I agree.
And we must strengthen that area and work on that. Because what you do, in my mind, is that you try to find out where your strengths are, and then you support that strength and try to get stronger. Rather than spending too much time on the areas that will be too weak for you to influence anything. Okay, that's just my approach as a military person.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. I think you covered another point, but I would want to ask Colonel. You serve as the CEO of Home Affairs, and then you are on the parole board.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how you see the situation of crime? You have any idea how we could? What have been your experience there at Home Affairs?
I have a whole lot of ideas that I have shared with my successors. I put it in writing and I gave it to them. Whenever I am asked, because I had my turn.
Okay.
I always do this. Judge Lovell, you may have your chance. These people who are now in the seat, they are it, just like I tell you how, and you should know, try to get to try to be too cage, and kind like you have all the answers again, because you have your turn. So you have to leave these people up to their turn to try and do things. So there are times when things would happen, and I would see where we can do better. But what I do, other than having a conversation on social media with the whole world, I would have a chat with the person in charge.
Okay.
Why, very unfortunate. Have you considered this, that? Because
yes, so and so.
Yes. But it's then up to them. All right. I would, for example, when we, and I don't think you will be upset with me to say it, before we had a change of command for the Coast Guard, I had to sit down and chat with the person who at the time was not even designated, and he was just back from War College.
Okay.
I said, well, this is an opportunity, sir, for you to start to influence how you would want to see that organization be whenever you take over. Because if you wait until when you get into the seat, you don't have time to deal with all the visions and future things and a certain thing, because you're there trying to outfire us. You have to deal with it every day, working at thing and get consumed by it. And the time is so short. 4 years comes so quick. Boom, you're out, and you're still never even did anything to it. So this is the time for you to influence that change, and this is the time to influence those who are below you, who will be there with you as your seniors. This is time for you to get a mindset and find out what they want, that certain thing, and try to get your superiors there now to start to do those things, so that when you get into the seat, these things will already be in motion, and all you now
Yes.
need to do is to ensure that you continue to work on those things to get what you wanted to do within the time frame that you have. And then when you're in there, make sure that you allow those that are below you to have an opportunity to share their ideas and to say what they would want to get done, and for you to work on those things with them that you agree that is the way to go. So that when they get in, we can always be developing and getting from better to better to better, without all kind of people feeling like, oh, you're trying to overthrow me, or if you're trying to bind me. Because there's always human thinking that the young man is trying to get you out of the seat. But what you should realize that once you're in the seat, that's it. You don't got nowhere else to go. So when you get out, you have to make sure that you have done all that you could have done in there with the help of those above you, those below you, and those around you. All right, and that's the approach that you should take. And so I gave him that advice. And I, for example, I would talk to a number of people when I see them, and I say, boy, did you consider that? And I just leave it with them.
Yeah.
But I do
Who
not.
knows?
Yes.
Throw your next one, man. Throw your next one.
Yeah,
Rapid fire.
I know that we are at the ICJ now, and we believe that by December we should have a ruling. But we're not hear much, man. We're not see publicly.
All right.
Right?
My advice to you and everybody else is that, remember, like how I said that our diplomacy is our strength as a country. Information is the strength as a people.
Yes.
And this platform that we're on, and all other social media platforms, is strength for us to be able, as a people, to get the kind of information we need, to put the kind of pressure we need on those that be. I am just saying.
But there's nothing preventing us, right? There's nothing preventing
What
us.
will prevent us from asking questions, from putting pressure on and getting response?
No. You see, I'm one of those who feel that it should be public. We should be seeing it punch by punch. You know, everybody wants to see where they go, and this thing is so important to us.
Well,
and
then,
so
work out a plan as to what the government can do to give us just that, and put it out there, and put it on every media and house and every social media platform, and get people, because I'll tell you something. Whenever you keep quiet, everything is quiet. As long as there is something coming out there, and people have to respond. They cannot just keep quiet.
I agree.
You understand?
Colonel.
That's all
Colonel.
Yes, I'm here.
Your closing remarks.
Yes.
All right, Percy and Ivan, I think that as long as we have life and we are Belizeans, at least me, George Lovell, I will always be contributing. I will always be here. I'm not retired and out of sight and everything else. I will not get directly involved because I had my turn. But in terms of people coming and getting advice, because I have a lot and I can help, I don't mind providing that to them. So I am open for them to pick my mind, hear my thoughts, just like you have been doing, and for me to say exactly what I'm saying, because I will always be Judge Lovell. I will be frank, candid, and I will not try and mince words or try and to be cute. You'll hear from me.
And if you are called out of retirement, are you ready? Are you ready to go?
You call out of retirement to do what? Because that's
whatever the country needs. Hello.
Well, yes. I'm always ready. If the country needs. If the country needs, I'm able to, because I keep able people to try to think, oh, you're old. I am not old. I hear you coming with that pitch to say people thinking that should either be. No, it's just a figure.
It's just a figure. It's a number.
It's just a number. Boy, I am still out there, and I don't mind people like say, oh, you have to keep in your age or riding the races with a 60 plus or 50 plus. If that if I'm lined up with the 18-year-old, I don't complain. Because I know my ability and I keep within my scope.
You lead. You do.
Yeah.
On that note,
Yeah.
it's been our pleasure. My co-host and I. Your cousin, by the way, your cousin. Close
Oh, yes,
cousin.
yes. Very close relatives. Ivan and I will not shut from it. And so I always disclose these things so that there is no accusation that boy, nepotism, and all this kind of thing. Just joking.
It's been a pleasure.
We have to end up on a humorous note.
Let's continue.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Uh-huh.
All the best.